Hello, I'm Josh Anderson, Associate Information Architect at Precision Content. Last year, I was involved with World IA Day here in Toronto, and I'm so happy and proud that this event has continued into 2021. I think the organizers have done a great job, and I'm so glad that so many different people are able to get their chance on the stage to say their piece, including me, I guess. So I want to talk to you today about landing an information architecture job in 2021. So the first thing is that you have to learn your stuff. There's no way around it. Either you can go to a degree program like I did. I earned a Master of Information degree at the University of Toronto before this. I think there's a lot of people in attendance today who are doing that same degree. And you don't necessarily have to go the school route, but one thing that is common among all information architects that I've seen at least is that this tends to be not the very first step of someone's professional career. Information architect, in other words, is more of a second or a third job than it is a first job. In my case, before I got this job, I was a search engine optimization specialist. Before then, I was a web content publisher. Before then, I was an English teacher abroad. My colleague, Pei Hong Zhu, worked as a scientist for several years before she got her start as an information architect. So a lot of the job titles you'll see before IA would be like content specialist, technical writer, content strategist, UX designer, usability analyst. There's no one single path that everyone takes, and I think that's one of the things that makes it an interesting field. But the common thing is that there is something that happened before people became information architects. Next, there is no reason not to have a portfolio. You gotta have some kind of personal website or online portfolio of some kind. And just doing that alone, just having a website, let alone a good website, but just having a website puts you in the upper tier of applicants, that alone. So there's no reason not to. I've always been a big fan of WordPress.com. You can start a free website there. Wix, W-I-X, is another one. Squarespace is another one. Just pick one. You don't have to worry about coding anything yourself. There's a lot of templates people use. I think it's taken for granted that people use templates on their websites, so no one's going to look down on you if you do that. For a while, I thought about portfolios as something that only people who are very artistic would do. Somebody who's like really a dedicated UI designer or some kind of visual artist. I thought, like, as somebody who's more interested in words, what use is a portfolio to me? But it is useful, and what you should have on your portfolio, especially as an IA or as some kind of content person, is a case study of a project that you've done. Think of something where it's complete and you can articulate your process and you can show your thinking from start to finish and walk through the story of how you identified the problem, how you solved it, why you chose to solve it that way, what the results were, and what you learned. If you can think of like those things as headers and write a paragraph or two under each one, there you go. You've got a case study. And the other thing is that you can kind of create projects for yourself out of thin air. You definitely don't have to wait for someone to assign you a project to solve or a problem to solve. In my case, I was able to help out with a website for a volunteer-run organization. And trust me, there is no shortage of volunteer-run organizations with websites that need work. So pick a cause you believe in, reach out to whoever the site owner would be, and just come up with some kind of research project. For example, figure out the reasons why users would go to that site, the kinds of information they might look for, and come up with like a set of user test questions. Ask the users to find such and such on the site and time how long it takes for them to do it. And then use card sorting to redesign the navigation or to rearrange the information on the site. And then redo the user tests with the new information architecture in place. Time that. Likely, they'll have found the content faster the second time around. And write about that. And there you go. You've got a solid portfolio ready just from writing something like that up. The next point is to meet people. And this one's easy because you're already doing it. You're here at World IA Day, so good job. Keep coming to events like this. Don't be shy about reaching out to people on LinkedIn. Reach out to people you respect. Speakers, writers, bloggers, whoever. A lot of people have contact me links on their personal websites, and you might be surprised how many of them will actually respond to you. In my experience, this is an industry full of people who are willing to help. There's also groups you can join. There's one called Content and UX. It's like Content plus UX, if you do a search for that. They have a very active Slack going where people in UX, content, IA, and related fields all get together and talk. STC Toronto is a good one, the Toronto Content Strategy Group. Just go on Meetup, search for the keywords you're interested in. I guarantee you'll find something. The last point is that, in some sense, everything is an IA job. And now hear me out. So the point is that you don't want to become too attached to any single conception of what information architecture is. Believe it or not, some of the highest profile people in this community don't have information architect as their job title. Truth be told, I think information architect as a job title is kind of a rare thing nowadays. Part of the reason for that is maybe a sensitivity around the word architect, because I know in some US states, there's like laws around calling yourself an architect if you're not licensed to design buildings. So sometimes for that alone, they'll call it something else other than information architect. The thing is, information architecture is more of the work you do. It's more of even the worldview you have. So people with job titles like product designer, UX architects, content strategists, technical writers, information developers, they might be doing information architecture. So don't write those jobs off in your search. That might be what you're looking for. Don't get too wrapped up in the titles. Look at the keywords, look at the roles and the responsibilities. If a job lets you manage content, design context, and advocate for users, it's information architecture. Richard Saul Wurman, the guy who created IA, says an information architect is someone who makes the complex clear. So no matter what your next job title is, you can practice information architecture by using your skills with words, organization, and design to make any part of the world a little bit easier to navigate and understand. To illuminate as best as you can the path that you've taken for those who wish to follow. And I hope my talk has been able to do that for you today. Good luck in your job search, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Thank you.